subscribe. Tariq Radio. Like and subscribe.
You doing, man?
We good, man.
I,
How are you?
man, I just want to know what's going on this week in hip hop culture, man. First, you got Big U, got Yellow Beezy. Then I just hear the dude from Houston, Walker, Sauce Walker or something. Him and his partner just got hit up.
Yeah, man. It's a bad vibe in hip hop right now. You dig? It's a very
Yeah,
bad vibe out here. And the problem is, and you bring let me get into some of that real quick.
yeah. I'm gonna let.
Yeah, there's a Yellow Beezy and Mo 3, and he got arrested for participating in the murder of Mo 3, and we got the stuff going on in LA with the Big U and all of that stuff. And then um Sauce Walker, he didn't allegedly got shot out there in Memphis. Let me tell you, you know what it is? You know what the problem is, family? You know what the real problem is? Why we seeing a lot of these um hip hop crimes like this and shootings? Because a lot of these goddamn podcasts sit up here and instigate this bullshit. That's what really is going on. A lot of these podcasts are instigating a lot of this shit. That's one of the problems. You want to keep it a buck? When situations pop up and you need somebody to talk folks down and say, hey, y'all, don't do that. Don't go that route. Yeah, you got a beef with that dude. You know what? Let me get on the phone with his people and let me flesh that out. You don't have nobody doing that. People always have beefs, especially cats from other cities, because you notice a lot of these guys who are shooting each other and all of that, these are dudes who know each other. These are dudes who are once friends with each other. These are cats who were once cool with each other. But what happens a lot of times, a lot of these beefs are instigated by these podcasts who are exploitive. You understand? I'm not gonna put too much because now some of these dudes, right from wrong, and you shouldn't do certain things. But we do understand how some of these podcasts will platform folks and then put fire on these beefs that don't need fire on them. You dig? And that's some dangerous ass shit. And that ain't cool whatsoever. And all of these dudes, everybody who's beefing, going to jail and all of that, they be on the podcast mixing in all of this street business, which they shouldn't. And these folks be instigating that. And it's kind of a double-edged sword because a lot of times they can't get the publicity they need in many cases without them doing that. You got like a lot of these podcasters, they've made certain people known who's only known for street business. So now they get on these podcasts talking about street business and then instigating street issues, which leads to more negative interactions in the streets. You dig? You got a lot of people online who's only known for being on these podcasts. You dig? So yeah, they have a lot of responsibility for that shit. They got a lot of responsibility for it. Yeah. All right. Let's get Marcel Levitt. Let's get Marcel Levitt in the building. Marcel Levitt is giving the thumbs down. Marcel, hop on in. Marcel.
Yo,
Yes.
hello?
What's up, brother?
What's up, Tariq? I talked to you a few times already, but last time I talked to you, you started questioning my lineage and shit. Because I
Really?
said,
No, I kind of remember, but I don't. Now, where you say you from?
no, you asked me where my family was from. My family from Philly.
Okay, I remember. Okay, yeah. Okay, I remember. Yeah, you called a few times. You always call up. Yeah, and we question your lineage because you be, kind of sounding Sambo-ish, some of the stuff you be saying. But yeah,
I
you
ain't
just
never,
probably
I ain't never sounded Sambo as ever, bro. I don't know what you talking
you
about.
kind of do. But yeah, you just might be an FBA who happens to be a Sambo. We have FBA
I
Sambos.
never said no. Listen, that's what I want to talk about. I never said no Sambo shit.
Okay,
What I really want to talk about is, I think some of your followers, right? Like I be reading the comments and stuff. I think a lot of your followers be Sambos. Like
okay.
they be saying, like a lot of people that be listening to you be saying some weird ass shit for real.
Like what?
Like I don't know, like they don't listen. They be this, like making up random shit. Like that's why people be saying we a cult because people be saying weird shit. Like, why are you questioning my lineage? Because I said, yo, it's something you gotta consider. I said FBAs, right? If we get reparations, not 1 trillion, but $15 trillion, there's gonna be people that's gonna be trying to kill us. And they said, oh, where his family from? He not from Philly. Like I never said I was from Philly. I'm from the county. Anybody that's from Philly know what the county is. I'm not from
Got it.
Philly. I'm
Okay,
not
that's
Philly.
that's okay. Okay. That shit is boring. Okay, we got it. Let's get into the whole thing. They're gonna kill us. Okay, they're already killing us, and they're trying to kill us already. So why not kill us or try to kill us when we got paper? What's the difference?
No, it's not that. You saying it's boring. I'm saying that like anybody that got any type of question for FBA, right? That's trying to come together and talk about something. They want to question your lineage and make up a bunch of shit, like and don't listen when I actually say I'm not from Philly. And they say, oh, this nigga not from South Carolina. Like a bunch of like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Oh,
you asked me where my family was from. I said my family from South Carolina. I'm
okay.
not from South Carolina. And somebody in the comments said, yo, your family, you don't sound like a South Carolina nigga. Don't
Okay.
that sound like a I'm
But
just saying,
okay.
people on
What?
here sound like a cult. Like you make it sound like a cult because
How the fuck is the
everybody.
lineage? This is what you just saying. How is your lineage a cult? What the fuck you
I
talking
did
about?
see. That's what I'm saying. Y'all niggas not listening. I didn't say that. I'm saying niggas on here.
Who
The way
cares?
y'all be.
Who cares? Nobody gives a shit if somebody's talking about a cult. We ain't no cult. Your lineage ain't a cult. Who gives?
But you gotta understand when the people that be supporting you and supporting the FBA movement, right? People say weird shit.
Don't matter. Don't does that change your lineage?
It does matter though, because it
No, it
validates.
doesn't. No, does it change your lineage? Does it make you something else?
Listen, but you gotta understand
Does
that
it
it.
change your lineage, sir?
No, but it
It
make us
don't.
look dumb. It make us look dumb though.
No, dude. They already look at us dumb. Don't matter.
How I
Don't
look
change your
dumb because
lineage.
I don't sound. I'm not from Philly. My family from Philly. You
Don't
get what I'm saying?
care. No, nobody cares. Okay, you keep
All right.
saying
What?
that.
Okay. So keep
Okay,
make us dumb then.
do you want a hug? What the do you want? You want a hug? What do you want?
No, I just think it's funny though. It's cool. Like I don't want to hug,
All right, then stop whining. You whining, dude. Stop whining.
nigga. I'm not whining.
You are whining. Talk about something else. You whining. I don't want to hear a nigga whine.
All right, bro. Like
What else
you
you want
just
to talk
missed every.
about?
You just missed everything I just said though. I'm saying that
No,
niggas got.
dude. Dude, will you please wipe the tears off your pussy? Cause you're whining like a bitch. Nigga, stop whining. Calm down. Do you have any other questions, sir?
All right. I just wanted to say that, dog.
All right, you
Niggas,
said it.
niggas
Now
got
get
looking
your ass
goofy.
on and change your tampon, nigga. Good freaking grief. Hold on, let me get my brother. Let's get, hold on. Faye, I'm gonna get you in a second, Faye. Hold on, Faye.
Heard that. Heard that. Thank you.
Okay, hold on, Faye. Hold on, Faye. Let me get brother Kanye. Kanye, what's up, brother?
Man, what's going on, Flex? How you holding up,
I'm
man?
good, man. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. I just made it back from Atlanta. Thanks again for the film.
Oh, yes. It's our pleasure. Yes, indeed.
So you can always tell who's not used to dealing with.
Oh, Kanye, you went out?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I said you can always tell who's not used to dealing with women. We in here talking about giving games to youngins who know how to pick up the older women. He coming here crying about somebody hurting his feelings in the comment section.
Right.
God damn, fellas, y'all gotta do better, man.
Exactly. I'm like, okay, brother. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's move on to something else. No. My mama and them, and they from Georgia and South Carolina. Okay. All right, brother. Damn. Okay.
But he do be saying a lot of, Sambo shit. Like I asked him one time, I said, hey, so are you scared? No, so why the you worried about it? Like, you gonna tell them, no, I don't want this money because it might cost me my life? Like, is that the way you live your life? Yeah,
Right.
I know, crybaby. But all right, man, y'all take it easy. Peace.
Man, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. Now, Miss Faye, hop on, Faye.
Oh, hello, hello. What? Where are you from?
I'm from Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so I had a genuine question, and I
Yes, go
want
ahead.
to it's for the sake of education, right? So
Okay.
I looked at your profile, and you say FBA, so it's a foundational
Black
Black American,
American.
right?
Yeah.
Right? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
perfect. All right. So, I'm from New Orleans. I come from like a melting pot area, and I'm all about diversity and all the things, right? It's just
Right.
right. So, because we're all just people at the end of the day, right? So, I'm curious, how does like the the FBA like what is the notoriety of like the FBA label? Like what is that? Can you just educate me?
The, what's the notoriety? I don't know what you're asking me,
Yeah,
man.
well, you're like you identify as like foundational Black American. Like, what does that mean?
That means that I come from a background that's not immigrants. We're not immigrants.
You're not immigrants, so
Right.
like slave traffic, right? Or like,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a
right? Okay.
descendants of slaves, descendants of freedmen. Yes. My people survived slavery. That's a very unique lineage.
Yes, it is. And I guess I want to like explore that idea because for me being from like down south New Orleans, like white girl, it's funny, like I did my lineage thing, genealogy, and turns out I have West African in me. So I think
Hmm.
you know we go down those lines, and it is what it is as far as, how uh I guess owners and slaves like interacted. But at the end of the day, I guess I want to ask the question of like, um, is that not just like an ideology at some level, like some like that um, you're attaching yourself to? Because at some level, I feel that many races were enslaved, all across the world, and still are in some
But not
countries.
here. But not here. Not here.
Right. Right. No, of course not. So, what is the utility of identifying like as a foundational Black American? Like, is
What
that
would be
for
what would be the ideology? Because a lineage. What's the ideology of an Irish person?
what's the ideology of an Irish person?
Right.
Well, I think, well, I, I don't know what an Irish person's ideology would be, as I am not an Irish person, but it could
Right.
they
Now,
would
when slow down,
probably be something.
Faye, slow down.
Yeah,
Please slow down.
a girl.
Slow down. Slow down, please. Okay, let's just calm down because you're just
I'm just
very
curious. I want to know
slow
why is that?
down.
Because Tariq, like, I would love to.
Slow down. Calm down because you're just stuttering and real sketchy acting. Just calm down. We're not in a rush. We're not in a rush, Faye. You can take your time, but you got to calm that down.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I can't talk to somebody who's just
Fair
that's
enough.
not okay. Just calm down. We can talk. We're gonna talk like adults. Now, your lineage is what? You said you're not. I would assume you're from New Orleans, so you have some French. You're French, right? You got French going on there,
Yes, my last name is Carmouche.
right? What's the French ideology? What's your ideology?
Well, I guess the Roman Catholic thing is very ingrained in like the nature down there, um, in the South,
There,
and so that's
there are a
there.
lot of
But
French.
like
There are a
I
lot of French. There are a lot of French people who are not Roman Catholic at all.
Oh, absolutely. With like the Protestant movement and everything, I absolutely agree.
Right.
But
So,
there's,
what's the ideology of French then?
uh, I don't think that I'm not sure that we're using the term like ideology properly because what I'm asking is like the foundational Black American is like,
Right, right, yeah,
why
because
is that
slow
something
down,
that deserves?
because if there's no, you can't point to a French ideology because there is no such thing as a French ideology. French, that's a lineage.
Well, I imagine if you asked a French person, would that if what their ideological um
There's no French ideology, sweetie,
Napoleon?
because people
Napoleonic
that's
law
not an
is
ideology.
French ideology.
That's not an ideology. That was a person. He's not an.
Napoleonic law is an ideology. It's remnants, and that's the Napoleonic law is actually kind of what.
That's not an ideology. That's a law. That's not an ideology. That's a law.
Well, and the Napoleonic law is what allowed for several different things in regard to, like, like, there's an interesting dichotomy and how it trickles
That's
down into the
not an
slave trade.
ideology. That's a law. That's not a. That's a
But
law.
ideologies are the backbone of laws.
No, 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 no. That's a law. That's a law that
So,
can be applied and militarily backed. So that's not a French ideology. That's a law that's backed by French
but
military and
let's
government.
let's backtrack, because again, like,
Hold on.
the question that I have for
French.
you,
Okay.
the question that I
Okay.
have
Hold
for
on.
you.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. So let's say you violate the Napoleonic law. Does that make you not French?
I mean,
You don't have to
no,
abide by
I don't think you're understanding what what we're talking about. But
it,
my
ma'am.
question to you, sir.
No, no, you're going to slow down. You're not going to talk over me, beloved. No. If you violate that law, which you said is based on an ideology, whether you abide by the law or whether you break that law, if you're a French person, you're still going to be French. Correct, Miss Faye? No matter what your ideology is, you're going to be French, right?
Sure, yeah.
Same thing with being a foundational Black American. It is not about an ideology, it's just about your lineage. It doesn't matter what your ideology is, that doesn't change your lineage. We don't have to do anything.
But how is it serving you, I guess, in terms of, like, how does that
What do you mean how it's
how does it
serving me?
help
It's my lineage.
rectify the sin of the nation of, like, I guess I'm born and raised there, but it's
Born and
smaller.
raised don't mean you're here. So don't speak on here. You don't know what's
Oh,
going on here. We
mad
don't have
respect, mad
none of those.
respect.
We New Orleans was the first ones to tear down those stupid monuments,
Yeah, yeah.
and we changed the streets down here. We do not have Jeff Davis and none of those other streets. So you can just go ahead to Michigan and worry about what's going on out there and not New Orleans, and stop lying saying you live
I
in New
mean, New Orleans is
Orleans.
my home, so I worry about what goes on down there for sure.
You say you
My
haven't been here
family
for
still
10
down
years
there.
just so you don't know what's going on here. I'm here.
Well, that's amazing. Honestly, the only reason I left New Orleans was because of Hurricane Katrina, and, like, I decided I didn't want to set up shop in a sinking city. But that's
Well,
it.
maybe
And
Katrina did you a blessing and blew your ass away.
oh my gosh, oh my, I
I'm
guess
still
so. Maybe
here.
New Orleans doesn't need me. I don't know, but I'm a
We don't. We don't need you lying on our city.
what am I
Now,
saying?
what's
There's
going
a
on out there
lie.
where you live at? What kind of monuments you have where you live?
I no, honestly, I think keeping those monuments tells us what how not to live.
Yes, indeed. All right.
Girl, go
Thank you.
play.
Thank you, Cheryl. That she's a very passionate
Yeah,
sister.
it's fine. No, I
So,
get that. I get that absolutely. But it's unfortunate. I do subscribe to the fact that maybe they should be taken down because not everybody's smart enough to recognize that that's why we should keep them.
now, Faye, let me ask you this: why do you seem like you do? You kind of seem like you had a problem with us identifying, with our ethnic lineage as foundational Black Americans. You seem, and some people do seem to have a problem with that. Why do you think people would have a problem with that?
So I think I have, and I'm going to be completely, candid here. So please don't
Absolutely,
judge me. But,
no,
like,
not at all.
growing up in the inner city of New Orleans as a young white girl, I was preyed upon in very crazy ways. But that's not to say that that's a race issue. But in our brains we can surmount it to something like that. So I wrestle greatly with, because I love all humans. And my sister-in-law, we have mixed niece I have mixed nieces and nephews, like,
Uh-huh.
I just had a dream last night about my ex-sister-in-law Heather. Like, I love uh people, but I think there's something, like, inherent in that we don't recognize as people that it's like fear of the other, quote unquote. And it's tribal, it's like ingrained in our brains. So I feel like to some degree, like racism as it is will never go away. And I'm not suggesting that I'm
What does that
racist.
have to do? What does that have to do with the question, ma'am? You went off into a tangent. That
Well,
has nothing to do.
that's my brain. I'm sorry, but all that to say, the reason it comes from that place, though, is like why I was questioning it. Like, why is that? Why is that noteworthy for him? Because it's. But you gave me great understanding of that. So, but if you were picking up on any kind of resistance or whatever to it, that's where it's coming from. Is like that fear of the other thing that's ingrained, young childhood, whatever tribal things. But I do think that exists across the globe. It's not just in America or in the South or in New Orleans or wherever. I think that's just a humanitarian issue, is that we have this inherent fear of, quote, the other. And, at that point, it's, just ego and people and psychology, blah, blah, blah.
Now, what happened to you that was traumatic?
Oh gosh, I got beat up so much. I think eh, I think because of maybe it's interesting. I was uh like the only white girl in this. So after Katrina, for example, I was misplaced and sent to a school in Baton Rouge, inner city, and I was like the only white girl in this whole school, and I didn't care. I loved it. I dated this like dude named Conrad or something. I think I was like 13, but anyway, all that to say, um, it, it the bullying was incessant, and I
Mm,
think the presumption was that I was like this rich girl just because I was white or something. But no, like my family came from like poor poverty Cajun roots. Like
right.
so I feel like the profiling thing does go both ways.
So,
And
so,
it's it's
so,
neither here nor there,
no,
um.
that's significant. That's significant because see what happens. You were, and then Howard Stern, he was left behind in a black neighborhood, and that shaped his views about black people too. Where you didn't have enough money to exercise your white privilege the way you needed it to be exercised, so you had to be stuck out there with the blacks, and you didn't like it.
I wouldn't
And
trade it for anything, honestly, because like I went to an all Catholic school like on a scholarship, and it was crazy because they all saw me as this charity case from the ghetto. And so like that gave me some insight into like the white privilege dynamic at a very young
hmm
age, because I was attending this
hmm
Catholic school where everybody was all hoity toity, high and mighty, and the bus system wouldn't even like come to my house. We had to walk a mile to go to a bus stop because they wouldn't go in that neighborhood. And so at a very young age, I kind of like grasped hold of that divide, I guess.
But let
Uh,
me tell you something. Listen, I would know this, and I don't even know you. I know there were some black girls who did try to protect you because
oh,
there's all.
definitely. Oh,
hmm
definitely.
Yes, indeed.
Definitely, and that's why I say I wouldn't change it for anything. And I'm I'm really thankful that I essentially like grew up in the same neighborhood as like Lil Wayne. I can hold that as like a fun little thing. And
Right. Yeah, there's
yeah.
always that's there. Yeah, for everybody who's going to bully you, there were the same amount of people that offered you protection. I know this happens all the time because I would protect some of the white kids that I was cool with, who because I went to all black schools and some of my schools were rough, and we always had the one or two white boys who were poor and left behind, and some of them would get targeted. And I had a neighbor, a guy named Carl. He was a cool white boy, lived a couple of houses down. They would be on his bumper. I was very well respected in school. I stopped people from jumping him. I'm like, no, he's cool. Leave him alone. And they left him alone. So yeah, there's a lot of us who have protected some of you guys who were the poor whites who were left behind. So always acknowledge that too. Okay.
Yeah,
Because
thank you for that. I would love. Oh my gosh, I wish my brother was here for the spaces. It'd
there you
be
go.
amazing. So thank
Uh,
you.
there you go. There
I'm
you go. But
happy.
thank you so. Let me get some more calls. Thank you so much, dear.
Totally.
Yes, yes, indeed. Yeah, a lot of us we don't let them get bullied. Some of us say, no, no, leave them alone, because you don't really get no points for that. You know, to be honest, beating up on a little poor white kid, you don't get no points for that. You don't get no brownie points for that. You're beating up on anybody who's weaker. You don't get no points for that. You know, that ain't, you know, that ain't something we do. If you see a little small black kid or a little white boy by himself jumping on it, you don't get no points for that. Now, if it's a group of white boys on some bullshit, yeah, we're gonna mount up. You dig? But yeah, a lot of us, the white kids who were left behind, there were black people who looked out for them. There were black people who made sure that they didn't get hurt too bad. That happens in every city. It happens all the time. You dig? So yeah, don't let them get away with that. Oh, I just got beat up. Everybody was just whooping my ass. Oh God, the blacks were beating me. You better talk about the black people who helped your ass too. Talk about the black people who help you too. Dig? Let's be very, very real. Let's get this that. Hop on this that. This that. Hop on in. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. It's a lot I want to cover. I was listening to this. I don't know if I'll be able to talk about it today, but I was listening to Joe Rogan and Elon Musk, and I want you to look at that episode and listen to it. He was talking about when it comes to reparations. He was just talking about, and I actually think that Doge shit he got going on is real important, especially with these reparation conversations that we have going on because he
Hmm.
was just talking about how many hundreds of billions and almost trillions of dollars that were just being handed out and with no trace of anything like and we just been paying and our tax dollars just been going to blank checks just been going to people that we can't even find out where it's going to for years.
Right.
And he's talking about we don't have money for reparations, but he's talking about this shit been going on for years. Trillions and trillions of dollars of our money just been handed out with like no face to no face, and like we're handing out 200 million to the LGBT Q communities to for puppies and all type of shit like that he talking about. So when these
Right.
hunkies come up here and these crackers come up here talking about we don't have money for reparations, the shit is amazing to me how illiterate and how stupid they are. But I want you to listen to it whenever you can, and then come back and talk about it.
Yeah, I check that out most definitely. All right, man. Let me get up out of here. Let me get up out of the thing. I thank everybody for tuning in. A lot of people still in here. Much respect to y'all. What I need everybody to do, family, it would be great if everybody goes to Hidden History Museum, give a contribution to the Hidden History Museum.